is Friday, August 14th of 2020. And we got a couple of weird things. One weird, one not so weird, to talk about today on Guy's Daily Drive. Bam! Intro done. And welcome to a Friday morning Guy's Daily Drive. This is the last day of the week that I go into the office. Unless things change, and it doesn't look like they're going to, I will be doing the virtual office thing next week. Still trying to talk Tracy into doing something, anything, just to GTFO out of town. We will see. But the two things I want to talk about today, one related to traveling and the other one is not. Let's start with the one that is not. There's been a lot of talk about Apple potentially bundling a lot of their services. Now they have a number of services that they charge money for. You have, of course, iCloud. Now, you get some paltry amount of iCloud for free just for owning Apple devices, but it's really kind of pathetic. It's really not that much. For more, you can go all the way up to 2 terabytes of storage, which should be more than adequate to cover the needs of most individuals or families, and I think that's like $10. You have Apple Arcade, and I use that service. Then you have Apple Arcade, which I also use. That's $5 a month. You have Apple TV, which I'm currently getting for free because I bought this iPhone SE and it was included in the price. Though, if I wasn't getting it for free, I think it's in the US $7, something like that. You have the Apple News app, which includes all kinds of magazines, newspapers, and other services, which I think is $10 a month. And there's you have Apple Music. All of these things add up to quite a bit of money. And other than news, which I've never found particularly useful, I pretty much subscribe to them all, other than news. I like having a lot of storage in iCloud that's easily accessible to all of my Apple devices. I have found that very, very useful. Though, to be fair, with the various apps that cloud storage developers offer, I could also use other services. Dropbox is pretty good. It's been relatively stable, easy to use. They keep adding stuff onto it. They kind of, I think they're trying to make like an office suite that goes along with it, which, okay. I'm not all that crazy about office suites that tie into the cloud as like part of their appeal. It's just doesn't really do it that much for me. Though I do use Pages, which ties into iCloud, and I do use Microsoft Word, which ties into their Office 365 subscription service. But I guess the whole point of all of this is if you subscribe to a lot of different Apple services, and they could offer it as a bundle instead of, paying individually for each one of these services with some kind of discount, would you add on to the Apple services that you already have? Or even if it's slightly less money, would you just stick with what you have? Now, one of the things that I saw this morning as I was perusing the web is that if Apple TV goes to bundling, they may offer CBS All Access, and it didn't say whether that would be the regular CBS All Access with ads that costs $6 or $7 a month, which is ludicrous, or the premium one, which I think goes for $11, $12, that doesn't have ads. Didn't say. They also said it might be offering as part of the bundle one of the movie services. So what we're starting to see, not just from Apple, but from the likes of Disney Plus as well, is getting together with other content providers to offer bundles of content. With Disney Plus, you can get it, and I do have it, where it includes Hulu and ESPN Plus for a nominal, extra fee besides just the Disney Plus service, and I get that. It's basically, it gives me Disney Plus and Hulu for just a little more than I would have paid for each separately, but includes ESPN Plus. So I consider that to be a pretty good deal. And then if Apple can go ahead and offer the non-ad version of CBS All Access and one of the movie services, depending on what that costs, that could be a pretty good deal too. So, we're starting to see kind of what cable companies did with their TV offerings, except so far most of these companies aren't offering 500 channels, of which you won't watch 480 of. So that's, I find it interesting, and I want to see where it's going to go, because I recently cut the cord mostly because of cost. And if I can get just a few bundled services that offer the channels that I want versus all of the channels that my cable provider wanted to give me, regardless of whether I watch them or not, well, then that's a win. Give me carte blanche to pick and choose the channels that I want. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, and it's weird, is box trucks. Over in the UK, and I don't know what they call them in Europe, in the UK they call them Luton trucks. I don't know why, but in a video that I've seen in relation to these trucks, they call them like Luton trucks. Maybe I've got that wrong, something like that. Well, for a very long time, I have been very interested in watching videos that are related to a genre here called schoolies. And what a schoolie is a school bus that someone has stripped out all the seats and basically converted it into an RV or camper. And turn this a little bit. Darn this thing. I'm starting to see them now doing the same thing with box trucks. And if you don't know what a box truck is, essentially it's like those U-Haul, Ryder, Penske little moving trucks that you see all over the roads that people can rent for a day or 2 days or however long it takes to move their stuff from one place to another place. And as compared to a school bus, there's some disadvantages and advantages from what I've seen in converting these things. With a school bus, you have usually just a ton of seats that you have to remove, as well as other, some safety, some comfort related items that are spread out in school buses. Well, with a box truck, you don't have any of that. It's just a big box on a truck bed. So you've got like a couple of side supports to get rid of, and then you can do pretty much whatever you want to do with it, including cutting holes for windows, cutting holes for doors, doing whatever. The disadvantage of the box truck over the school bus is that you can get a really, really large school bus for not much money if you're willing to put a little more into it in order to, get it up to safety specs mechanically and the rest of that. Whereas with a box truck, they're still usually a little more expensive. But the other advantage for me is, as far as school bus over box truck, I can't stand all the way up in nearly any school bus that I've ever been in, going all the way back, of course, when I was a kid. Whereas with box trucks, they're typically very, very tall and built a little lower to the ground. So I can stand up in a lot of box trucks. And some of the videos that I've seen on YouTube they're pretty amazing with what some of these people have done with these, well, not only with box trucks, but with schoolies, where they're taking all of this empty space, and some people are actually like living off the grid in these things. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. I would be very interested once I retire and have more time to get involved in a project like this. And I think I would probably go with a box truck so that I could truly have right out of the box an empty space to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. So we're talking bed, we're talking rudimentary toilet and shower, a kitchen with at least 2 burners, and I would love to have a small oven to go along with that as well. Living space area, and the most interesting part of all of these, besides the fact that people are taking vehicles that were never intended to be used as recreational vehicles or campers and turning them into those, and it's fascinating to watch the process. But that you could have something like this for relatively not much money. If you go and you price out a new or used RV, and they're literally like land yachts. They can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, totally decked out. Now you'll have one that is pretty much complete, able to do whatever it is you want to do. But you won't get a lot of the customization that you can do cheaply with a school bus or a box truck. So if you get the chance, go on over to YouTube and just RV, and you will see all kinds of fascinating videos on what people are doing with these things. And, and a lot of times these are people that don't have any more building skills or plumbing skills or electrical skills or anything, and they're looking up everything online. They're looking at videos that people have created that show, okay, well, this is what you have to do to connect a solar panel to an inverter, and then connect that inverter to outlets and so on and so forth. It's just, I find it fascinating. And whether you do or not, I have no idea. But that is going to do it for Guy's Daily Drive today. Thank you all so very much, either watching this live or checking it out later on, either in audio or video. If you go over to YouTube, you can find all of Guy's Daily Drives, as well as the Mac to the Future Goes, and recently MyMac Podcast videos that Gaz and I have been making. Just look up Vert Shark over there on YouTube, and then like, share, subscribe. And if you missed it the first time, like, share, subscribe. That's all you got to do. So easy. And if you'd like to contact me, my email address is guy@mymac.com. You can also find me on the Twitters. I am either Mac Parrot or Vert Shark. What else? YouTube. You can find me on Facebook under my own name. You can find me under, I post a bunch of stuff at Mac the Future, the group there, which is a great group, and that's the group I do the live cast in on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. with Warren Sklar and David Ginsburg. As well, of course, is as the MyMac podcast that I do with Gazmaz. And that is going to do it for today. Once again, thank you all so very, very much for joining me, and I will catch you next time right here on Guy's Daily Drive.